Hi, this is Pim, and today I'm going to shoot a vlog about how to track which insight stage you're in. What I've been noticing is that many people struggle to be aware of what insight stage of the entire progress of insight you're in. Um, for more information about the progress of insight or the insight stages, I would advise you to Google the progress of insights, and you'll probably be linked to either a website by Daniel Ingram or by Ron Crouch, which are both very, very good description of the stages and what happens in each of them. Um, what I have not found though is how to know which stage you're in. Um, So I personally have a quite simple technique for that. Um, it could be that for you it's just not really possible to um, to track the cycles. If that is so, please just back off because it can be it can become quite of an obsession in a way, and it's really not about um, knowing which stage you're in. It's about being with this present moment without resisting it. Um, but knowing which stage you're in can actually help you to be more accepting of what is happening. Because, for example, while in Tree Characteristics, I experience a lot of physical pain, and um, when I know I'm in Characteristics, my mind will not make so much of the pain because there is a knowing that tree characteristics is always painful, right? So knowing what will happen in each stage is actually quite comforting and can bring a lot of peace while there is no peace, if that makes sense at all. Um, so, how to track the cycles? What I do is I close my eyes and I focus on a sweet spot somewhere. Okay, this is really hard to describe. Somewhere around um, being the witness and looking at the object. I would even advise to have no object in any way, but just sink into the witness perspective. And while you're doing that, I'm going to close my eyes now. While you're doing that, particularly look for bodily sensations. So I'm aware of bodily sensations right now, but I'm not focusing on them. And what will happen is that the cycles will just give rise, they will just appear. So, what I'm going to do now is be silent for a while and just let the cycles do their thing. And what you'll notice is that there will be some um, physical um, events going on in my face, probably. You see my jaw tensing up right here? And now you see that it relaxes, and it's like my head is going to rise. There's another shift, and now it's pretty normal. So, what I'm experiencing from inside is a shift, is a sound of zzzt. It really feels like it's located in my ear, and whenever there is a shift like that, I know that there is a transition from this stage to the next. Um, so then you know, okay, I'm cycling. That's the sign for me, but it could of course be different for you. Um, so how to track which stage you're in? I do that by just focusing on the physical sensations. During the characteristics phase, my jaw is tensing up. So what you saw happening is that my left mouth corner is just pulling in a way. It's like this. Um, when that happens, I know this is three characteristics. There's tension arising, there's contraction arising, there is discomfort, mostly physical, and um, um, after that, there's always a release in the form of AMP, of course. But the real complexity is that for me, desire for deliverance is quite similar to three characteristics. So while I know I'm in AMP right now, so I won't be going to desire for deliverance, um, while I'm for example, equanimity, I have to really be aware of what is the three characteristics and what is the stage of desire for deliverance. And I do that by counting basically, which is super simple. So what I do is whenever my jaw tenses up, that's either in three characteristics or in desire for deliverance, I'm going to count. So the shifts basically. So whenever I'm three characteristics, I count um, um, 1 AMP, 2 um, the solution, 3 fear, 4 disgust, 5 misery. They're in the not correct order, but that doesn't really matter. And then desire for deliverance, which is 6. But from desire to deliverance to three characteristics is only um, desire for deliverance, equanimity, 1. Reobservation is not part of the cycles in my experience. Reobservation is just reliving the cycles of the dukkha ñanas during the day. But really, in the cycle on the cushion, it's just you're just going from um, mind and body to desire for deliverance, mind and body, desire for deliverance. So I don't really know why people talk about reobservation being a different stage, because for me it's not that clear that it really is. There's actually always a shift from desire for to deliverance, desire for deliverance to equanimity, and never to reobservation, in my experience. Um, but equanimity is 1, then mind and body is 2, causality is 3, and three characteristics is 4. So if there are 4 counts, it's basic. You know that that was desire for deliverance. It cannot be 3 characteristics because you have to count 6 for that. So then I know, okay, I'm in desire for deliverance. Then I know that um, or that it was desire for deliverance, that I basically completed a full cycle. Then I know that, okay, a full cycle is completed. I'm in review now, um, if that makes sense. So by counting the shifts, you can kind of investigate where you are right now in the cycle. And that is supremely helpful because, as I've said before, it just makes it much easier to be acceptant of whatever is arising right now, which can be cruel and which can be really intense and which can just not be fun in any way. But the moment you um, look at external events as being the reason why you feel that way, you're basically projecting your inner world on the outer world, um, which is not good for yourself and for your environment, as you probably know. So, best to be aware of what your inside world, if we even can call it like that, because there's not really any separation, of course, um, what it is like, because how you perceive your perception is how you see the world. It's just, reality is just your perception, and they're very, very, very much related to the stage of insight. Um, so I hope this video was helpful in some way. I know it can be quite difficult to track the shifts and the different physical sensations, because everybody will probably have their own little signs, but then I would advise you to really notice what is happening in your physical being while you, for example, know that you're cycling in some way. So get to know, okay, during tree characteristics, this happens. During ANP, this happens. During dissolution, this happens. Um, and that's what the pod is partly about, um, seeing through what's happening in the moment and not identifying with it. It's just waves of existence, like a tree is losing its leaves in the autumn and grows new leaves in the spring. We humans also have our natural waves. Um, the difference between a tree and us is that a tree doesn't resist, and we do. We like constantly are resisting what the natural cycles are doing with our being, and that leads to suffering. So yeah, I hope this was helpful, and if you're interested in following more of my stuff about pragmatic dharma, but also about spirituality as a whole, about Buddhism, even some Christianity, just developing consciousness, human development in a spiritual way, you can follow me on YouTube and could also contact me. Always, I will always respond to your questions, and yeah, hope to see you on my channel. Have a wonderful day.